Hello guys and welcome back to my channel. My name is Liza McCarthy and in today's video we are going to be doing a spooky little challenge where I joined the Draw in Your Style challenge by Carolyn Petrovsky, and I had such a blast with this challenge. First and foremost, it took me a little bit over like 4 days or so to complete the challenge, I would say. And I loved drawing this witch character in my own style. I loved experimenting with how to render it. I had a lot of brushes that I used that were like completely new to me, and I was just trying to really figure out the style and the mood I want to go for this illustration. I definitely think it was a very fun one. I really liked how it turned out, and it is just one of the most interesting challenges I've did by far, and I really loved that it was spooky, yet it was very interesting and fun and vibrant, and I just loved it. Now, anyways, moving on from, that, I wanted to talk about the 1989 Taylor's version release, which I was so excited about. When it was released on 27th of October, I was like, it was still night, and 7 hours later after the release, I was like on the album like crazy. I loved the new Vault track songs. I genuinely loved them, and especially like one major difference that I noticed from the 1989 original to the Taylor's version one was the electric guitar feel on the song style. And I loved it so much. I still ate it up. It was just like amazing. I had a really fun blast of a time. And now when I'm drawing, I'm always like listening to this album on repeat because it was just amazing. Another album I've been listening to for more than a while, and you haven't really mentioned or talked about it, it was Silence Between Songs by Madison Beer. I love that album, and I've been listening to Revival by Selena Gomez, and I've also been listening to what was it? Scarlet. Yes, it was Scarlet by Doja Cat. I've been listening crazy to it. I'm like a fan of her music. Don't really like her as a person, but it's not my place to say it, but I don't really like her as a person, but I love her music, and I've been binging this album nonstop as well. So it's a really great album. Anyways, I am on my baking streak, which is pretty exciting, I love baking as a hobby, and I would do it, but I wouldn't do it frequently. And now over the past 2 weeks, I've made the most delicious chocolate banana cake. It's one of my best recipes. And initially when I found banana bread, I had to experiment from 3 to 4 recipes, and then I would kind of be in the middle, and I modified the whole recipe in itself, and that was pretty exciting. I just really loved working on that recipe. Not that I'm like a big of a cook or like specialist in recipes or anything, but I would genuinely like modify it based on texture, and it was like a very good banana bread. I will be writing the recipe down below in the description if you want to make some of it yourself, because I would highly recommend. It's delicious. My family goes crazy for it. It's like super chocolatey, moist, amazing, just like delicious, and it's like the most delicious of delicious I've ever tasted. Love it. Another thing that I've been making is I've been experimenting with chocolate chip cookies, like trying the new recipes, and today I tried chocolate chip cookies that taste like exactly like the KFC type or like the Subway type. They're so gooey, chewy, they're like super good. And I've also been I'm going to be making lemon pound cake and carrot cake because I'm obsessed with carrot cake. The last time I tried it on my vacation, I was like, this is like one of my top 3 tier cakes ever, like, right? I love it so much. And I've been making brownies, and that was a fail. I over added cacao powder, and it was like super bitter. It was just like disgusting. Thankfully some of my family love bitter stuff, so it wasn't that bad. Personally I hated it, but anyways, So I kind of feel like I'm on my baking streak, and I've been like super excited to make new recipes, try things out, and it was just like super interesting because I never really liked to be in the kitchen for that long, but now I kind of do it on the daily basis and bake a lot of goodies, and yeah, that's a fun experience. And I remembered why I loved baking in the first place. I've also made scones, blueberry scones, and those were they were epic. My family loved them. They were so sugary. They had the what was it, the heavy cream or the thick cream on top it with sugar, and it was just like so good, beautiful. They were like the best scones I've ever made. I mean, they were the only scones I've ever made in my life, but they were like the best. Like, I've tried scones before, but these were like the moist, delicious goodness with like a crust, and I'm just like, when I'm talking about them, I feel like I really want to make them. So I'm like getting all droopy over here, like drooling nonstop. I should make them sometime as well, like remake them, probably. Anyways, moving on, because I probably, made you hungry or something. So moving on from that, I've been rewatching Lord of the Rings and Hobbit franchise. Like, I only watch the extended versions, and if you know me, you do know that I kind of, if you've been here for a while, like on my Instagram, YouTube channel, whatever, you would know that I have to rewatch Hobbit and Lord of the Rings. Like, I have to rewatch them 3 times per year at least. And I do that. I mean, mom are like such huge fans, and I read the books and I really love it, the whole franchise as a whole, and it was just like such a great experience. I'm on the second part of the Lord of the Rings, and I've been asked, how do I watch them, whether I watch them in chronological order or order of release, and I'll tell you here. So I watch the Lord of the Rings Hobbit franchise in a very chronological order. So I watch The Hobbit, right, first, second, third, and then I watch Lord of the Rings first, second, third, and then my family's gonna rewatch the show, but I didn't like the show that much, so I'm not gonna rewatch the Rings of Power, but anyways, whatever. For Marvel, I highly suggest that if you want to get into the MCU world, like the universe, I would suggest, as somebody who's rewatched this universe all the time and is like on top of every single movie and show that comes out, I would suggest that you watch it but by the date of the release, because it's just like, you can't, if you do it chronologically, like some of the finale, like, end scenes are just like, you wouldn't get them, I suppose. So I would highly recommend you watch them by the order of release, and then you kind of go through that and you build your knowledge in this whole universe. So obviously it starts with Hulk, then Iron Man, and then Thor, and then, you go on and on. But I have it in my Notion. I don't think I'll share it, but you could just find it in Wikipedia, like the release date. Do not watch it chronologically. I do not recommend, because my sister started watching it chronologically when she first got into MCU, and she couldn't understand it much. So I would not recommend chronologically. Just like watch it by the order of release. There's a reason why it's been released in the order that it was. So that's what I'm just saying. And for Star Wars, I highly recommend you watch it by the chronological order, obviously, because I feel like that's so much better, especially with the shows that are coming, right? And with the new movies, sort of, you kind of have to fit them in. So I'd highly recommend watching it chronologically. I understood it more chronologically, so order of release isn't, wouldn't recommend that much, in my personal opinion, as I said. Moving on from that, I just want to say that because I've been asked, like, how do I watch, in what order do I watch, or like been asked this a few times in my Instagram, like 3 or 4 times, and I've been like, why not just mention it in a video? That's so much better. Anyways, I started my studies already, which is pretty scary and exciting at the same time. I am AS level. So I'm like AS and AL level, so I'll be doing like both for like 2 years. And I have 1 year of English. and then I have 2 years of probably biology, 2 years of literature, like English literature, and 2 years of psychology. And the reason I'm saying is probably biology is because I know I've talked about this, but I just wanted to say that, like, the amount of stress I'm feeling right now is, like, it's incredibly high. Especially, like, the first topic is, like, the chemistry of the biology, sort of, like, properties of water and covalent bonding, ionic bonding, all those, all that I didn't like in chemistry. So I have to ace like over 70% in my first 3 assignments, otherwise I cannot continue doing biology, and I'm relying a lot on biology. And so especially like with the studies, and like I've been asked a few times, like, what do I plan to do in the future, like, right, what am I going to choose for university and all that. And it's definitely going to be either the English literature and English route, like somewhere into journalism or being an author or anything like that, right? Like, I would want to go there that way, like creative writing, or biology, into the biological kind of medical field, and see where that gets me. So these are my 2, probably especially psychology, but I don't think I want to rely on psychology that much. And my main focus obviously right now is biology. And I do see myself in the literature field of the subject. I do not know whether I'm going to be able to, like, be in the psychology field, but, anyways, I really love psychology, so that's why I chose it, and I have really good grades, so, kind of good grades, I would say, so, it's fine. I've also been, I've watched Hunger Games movies before, like, a long time ago, like, last year or 2 years ago. Then I've rewatched it with my family, because my family didn't see it, and then I watched with them, and I've been reading the books. I'm on book number 2, the Catching Fire book, and then there's the Mockingjay, which is the last, 3rd, final book. And then I know that there's a prequel, The Ballad of Songbirds and Snakes, but I still haven't read that, obviously, because I think that I would leave it at the end, and I'll have to get the book by then. But I've been making my way through the franchised trilogy, and I've been, like, super excited, and I really, really am enjoying the books. Like, I've been binging them crazily. Like, I started it, like, I do know that it took me a bit, like over 12 days to finish the first book, and my reasons are valid. I've been, like, studying for the past few days. I've been, like, really busy. I've been baking and trying to be on top of my video schedule, which I'm not. So that is why it took me a bit longer to get into, to finish the first book and get into the second book. But obviously I'm making my progress. I do want to reread The Cruel Prince, which I've read, like, recently, like last month or 2 months ago. I want to read that trilogy so badly, and I've been thinking about this trilogy for since I've read it. I'll never be the same since then. I've been just, like, thinking about this trilogy actively. I love the characters, I love the growth, the relationships, like, everything was just on top, perfect. And I really want to read that trilogy by the end of this year, and that will be, like, my progress. Obviously, I have to kind of mention what I'm going to be reading next, and after the Hunger Games trilogy, I'm on the second book, right? And after I'll finish the trilogy, I'll probably read Atonement by Ian McKellen. I've been excited to read this book, and I heard it's set in the World War II, or before that, 1935, before that. Anyways, and I'm kind of excited to pick up this book. I was pretty excited to pick the book up and just read it. I've heard nothing but good reviews about it, and I've been drawn to literary fiction or general literature, like, books in that aspect. Like, I remember the last classical book that I read was The Giver by Lois Lowry, or The White Fang by Jake London. I've also loved Goodnight, Mr. Tom by Michelle Magorian. That was, like, a super good book. So I'm just trying to get my way into kind of general fiction, right? Like, or nonfiction probably. So I'm just getting myself into those genres, like classical genres, like old written books, because I genuinely have a soft spot for them. So I'm just gonna get a few of them, and I've heard like nothing but good things about this book, so I just decided to pick it up out of nowhere. About my art video schedule, I just wanted to tell you guys that I will not be posting every single week or so. I will not be posting 2 to 3 times a week. I'm still not sure how I'll be posting because I have to dedicate a certain time to finish up my obviously vlogs, and then I'm studying as well, and I have to edit the vlogs because I have been procrastinating on it like for so long, since August. And if I don't complete my vlogs, then I will not have enough footage, like space left to record new vlogs, which I'm hoping to do by the end of December, to make like studio vlogs, like very chill ones. And I have to urgently take the time away from my YouTube channel to edit the vlogs and work on them for you guys and have them ready. So that'll take quite some time. This isn't a goodbye. Obviously, I will be coming back like next week, maybe once a week or once every 2 weeks. I don't know right now, but I'll be finishing up a few of the videos that I've been recording, and then I'll be like stopping and working on the vlogs and then trying to post them, because I'm not trying to pressure myself or give myself like burnout or art block or anything by that. But I do know that there'll be a time, especially Christmas time, during that period, where I'll be like making videos like crazy, because I love making like Christmas draw with me videos where it's just like so cool, relaxing, chill, and overall the New Year's and Christmas period is my favorite time of the year. I love it, and I have such a blast making art during this period. I am finishing Ted Lasso, like the finale. I'm on season 3, which is the last season, and I'm on the final episode, and I cannot recommend the series enough. It was so funny. It was just like amazing, and I'm so glad I listened to my uncle, and he was like raving about it, and I'm like, okay, I want to see what's the blast, because before that I've watched there's this TV show, like it has one season on Apple TV, Apple TV. It is called Shrinking, and there's like only one season, and after watching that show, I loved it so much, and I was like, I want to see what else Apple makes, because I watched Physical. I still haven't gotten to season 3 of Physical on Apple TV, and I've been just like wanting more of those like realistic shows or something, because Apple does those very well. And I do want to get into Dickinson, by the way. I haven't gotten to this show yet. Anyways, and I've been like, okay, let's see what's Ted Lasso about, because he recommended it to me and he was like raving about it nonstop, and I'm like, okay, I'm just gonna give in and watch the show, see how it goes. And I love the show so much, and it was so sad that I didn't pick it up earlier, but I'm so glad, like better late than never, because I genuinely love this show. Like I ate every single episode up. It was super funny, extremely, like it was just like beautiful. I love the show so much, and I highly recommend you check this show out, because it was just like super funny. And if you don't know what the show is about, I'm just gonna give an over synopsis without any spoilers. So it's about this American coach, and he coaches American football, with the whatever people that they kind of, American football. I'm not gonna explain American football because I don't know anything about American football, but it's where they kind of smash themselves and have this weird shaped, like, to me personally, it's weird. Like, I obviously thought that football is supposed to be like you hit it with your foot. That's why it's called a football, isn't it? Why would you call football where you don't even use your feet, where you just tackle people? Anyways, I'm not going to question that. So he coaches American football, and he is invited into this British team where they play football, the football that, like, FIFA World Cup, the football that most of us probably know because I'm a European and I know this sort of football more, where you just hit your, a ball with your foot. The actual football. I think they call it soccer, whatever. and he gets into coaching that, and it's just super funny how he handles it, how his team treats him, and all those kind of little adventures. And Coach Beard, the other coach that came with him, like his best friend, ooh, he's like one of the best characters. He's so funny. I genuinely love their dynamic, and it was just like a blast. I highly recommend you check out Ted Lasso, like highly recommend. And I'm also going to be stopping Patreon for a while. Like, not for like that long of a while, but I'm definitely going to take a step back from my Patreon to focus more on vlog editing, to get my shit together and to kind of be back on track with my art videos. Obviously, right now, making an art video every 2 to 3 times per week is unrealistic. So I'm going to be either making 1 time per week or 2 times per week if I'm like lucky enough. I don't know about that because I have to get back into studies, and I have exams next year in October and November. So I really have to get back on track. I have to submit a few assignments, and I've been like not late, but I've been busy. So that sort of thing. And I just genuinely I'm excited because I have no math, no chemistry, no physics, but I do have some chemistry and biology. I don't know whether that counts, but it doesn't. Anyways, but I have no math, and I'm super excited about that because I'm like a failure at math, and I don't have to do that. I don't have to study it. I don't have to study physics, and I've just been super excited to get into the studies and the subjects that I really wanted, which was biology, English, literature, and psychology. So I'm pretty excited with my study season this year, and I'm kind of happy that I got to choose my subjects again, because last year I remember it was like actually 2 years ago when I've been choosing my subjects for 9th grade. I was super devastated that I had to pick chemistry and physics, because otherwise I wouldn't have made it into biology. And I remember something that made me like feel terrible at the time was when I submitted my IGCSEs, and on August the grades arrived. I was super sad at the fact that I got a C in math, and I couldn't do it because the minimal grade for math to access biology was a B, and I got a C, and I've been like super stressed out about that. I'm very grateful that I had the chance to do biology and submit the assignments, and then if my grades are higher than 70%, I can continue biology, and otherwise I won't. So the first topic obviously is like very tough. It's like chemistry related, but the second and third topic is obviously so much easier, and I've been like extremely happy that I'm like delving into the subject even more, even though I've been really stressed, and I'm gonna get a tutor, like additional help for myself, because I really can't do it alone, and I really need a lot of explanation, and a lot of help with my new tutors. So that's gonna be pretty exciting, I guess. Because I've usually been super stressed out about like Zoom calls and everything, and like with the teachers, and where they explain you like the subject one-on-one, and when they help you in sessions, I've been really stressed out about that and feeling a lot of anxiety towards that. But currently I've been feeling fine, and I've been feeling not stressed out and everything, and it's been like great to get myself back on track and to not feel that stress and just being fine with people being around you, because I realized that I'm an endovert? I think so. So it's basically I'm like a mixture of introvert and extroverted. In terms of I want to talk to people. I like talking to people. I'm like not stressed about that at all. And then and I'm introverted in the sense that I prefer being home more, and I'm like a very homebody person. I also noticed that I tend to be very anxious when I have to meet somebody for the first time, but then once again, getting to know them and talking to them, I feel very fine and very at ease and very like sociable. I also feel like going to new places or malls where everything makes me a bit stressed out, but then once I'm in this surrounding and I'm getting to ease into it, I feel like so much better and so much more talkative. So I'm kind of a mixture of both. I'm definitely not introverted as my mom or as my brother. I'm definitely more on the extroverted side, and I do feel like I'm very much like eager to talk to people, so otherwise I'll just go bonkers being alone. So I really like that about myself. But I guess I was more extroverted before the pandemic. I can definitely agree with that because I've been like extremely out there all the time, and then I've been once, being at home for like 2 years or more or so, and I've been like feeling anxious, and then again getting back into it, and then I've been like also very anxious to make my YouTube channel, and like being active somewhere and talking and everything gave me like intense anxiety. So I'm pretty grateful that I got out of this, and I've been my usual regular self lately, with a bit more stress and anxiety inducing situations. Anyways, we're gonna pass through that. But it was, I've been very grateful that I got back into this kind of getting to be a bit of my old regular self where I enjoy talking to people. I mean, I had the worst kind of anxiety inducing situation when I went in to try like some clothes because I wanted to get some. And once I've been trying on in this dressing room, the lady comes up and she's like, could you untie my dress, because she couldn't unzip the dress, and she had long nails and she couldn't reach back, and I was unzipping the dress and then talking to her, and we were like chatting and everything. It was pretty stressful. But then when you get into talking to people, I feel like I've been like less subconscious of how bad my accent sounds, or every time I have to re-listen to audio or like voiceover or anything like that, I feel like I've been like really cringe at times. And that's weird because sometimes people say that they like my voice, and I don't like my voice. I hate my voice. I feel intense cringe while listening to my voice, and I feel like I always like stammer. I get my words all mixed up sometimes, and I've been like so I've been very anxious about that. But and I'm very much an overthinking sort of type of person, because I remember once I finished like the Zoom call with the psychology teacher. I remember that one time where I've been overthinking everything I said to her, and I've been like, oh my gosh, I'm like so cringe, like how could she tolerate me as a student, or like all those crazy thoughts. But I'm very grateful that I kind of got out of overthinking that much, and I just like, whatever happens, and I'm allowed to make mistakes, and I'm just trying to get myself out of this habit. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, for listening to my rant, and I hope I will see you in the next one, and have a good day.